McGrath.
Thank you, Mr Acting Deputy President. This MPI is not a story of cuts, but it's a story of Labor's record on debt and tax and deficits. It's a horrible history of Labor mismanagement and horrid economic planning. So, mums and dads watching at home, send your children out of the room now, because you're about to hear some figures, and I don't want you swearing in front of your children, and neither do I want your children realising the full extent of the debt that they're going to inherit from Labor and what that means in terms of the work they're going to have to do to pay off Labor's debt. I don't want the toddlers and teenagers of Australia having nightmares because of Labor's debt and all the work they're going to have to do. So let's have a discussion about the figures, the truth about the inheritance that Labor gave to us in September last year when they were finally booted out of office. Now Labor initially forecast a surplus of $5.4 billion for the 13-14 financial year and kept this forecast surplus for 8 successive budget updates. The final figure was $48.5 billion in deficit. From 2008-2009 to 2013-2014, Labor delivered 6 successive deficits totalling $240 billion, and we've got many more to come because of their mismanagement. Including 2013 and 14, Labor left the government with future deficits of $123 billion, up to the forward estimates to 30 June 2013. If no policy action was taken by Tony Abbott and the coalition to repair the budget position that the government inherited from Labor and the Greens, I'll give them a mention here too, gross debt would have spiralled to $667 billion over the medium term and would have continued to grow. Now, that is the equivalent of $25,000 for every Australian. This is Labor's legacy of debt for all Australians. But Labor don't want to talk about this. They don't want to talk about their 6 years in power. It's almost like the forgotten history of Australia in terms of the textbooks that Labor want to write with history. It costs $1 billion a month to pay the interest on Labor's record debt. This would be $2.8 billion a month in 10 years' time if nothing changes. Look, the Independent Budget Office stated that without action, Australia's debt will grow at one of the fastest rates in the developed world. Now, we have to make savings. If we don't make savings, this country would be in real trouble. So we're going to make savings that should see us save money that could construct 15 new teaching hospitals every year. Savings of $16 billion over 10 years. That's more than the cost of the pharmaceutical benefits scheme and the National Disability Insurance Scheme and higher education spending. Now, on the eve of the 2013 federal election, then Treasurer Chris Bowen had to go even further in his 2013 economic statement by writing down receipts, a further $7.8 billion for 2013-2014 and over $33 billion across the then forward estimates. This government, Tony Abbott's government, Joe Hockey's government, Julie Bishop's government, Warren Truss's government inherited a shambles of a budget, a weakening economy and rising unemployment. Now, the government had to take immediate action to address a number of unresolved issues inherited from Labor. This includes injecting $8.8 million to restore the Reserve Bank of Australia's capital buffer after Labor ripped out $5.2 billion in dividends, providing $571 million in 2013-2014 and $2 billion over the forward estimates to fix Labor's funding shortfall for offshore processing of illegal maritime arrivals, funding public service agencies to meet the cost of Labor's unfunded redundancies arising from their hidden job cuts, clearing 96 announced but unlegislated tax and super measures that included measures announced to boost the budget bottom line, even though these measures could never be delivered or would damage the economy. Labor left Australia with no plan to fund the future and address their unsustainable spending trajectory over the medium term. This government is implementing a serious economic action strategy to repair the budget and strengthen our nation's finances. We're going to make sustainable spending promises. We're going to deliver record infrastructure investment, which as a Queenslander I'm very happy about in terms of the work that's going to happen on the Gateway and on the Bruce Highway. We're going to create new jobs and bring the budget back to surplus over the medium term. this government has been taking responsible and methodical action. The adults are back in charge, cleaning up Labor's mess and to clean up Labor's debt and deficit disaster and get the budget back on the